Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Break the Apocalypse podcast, World War III edition. This is your weekly look at the hellscape that we find ourselves living in until the bombs drop. Joining me on this road to the end of the world, I'm Captain Draper, and joining me is Shaheen. Shaheen, are you ready for the end of the world?
I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be for the end of the world. You know, I think we've had a spoiler alert on this show for like years. And I feel like we're hitting kind of like the climax of this, you know, everyone's about to come. Like we're right at the tippy top, you know,
Get
like,
ready to make the O face.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, the king of the O face, the B stands for Burley, Mr. B Show Brian. Or shall I call you a Burley Show Brian?
What up?
You like
what
Burley
do I
Show?
say to that? That's too good of an intro.
Burley Show is a good name.
You know, I just like to turn around and knock shit over with my girth. Is that that's all I can do?
You're just so big. You're just a big guy. B Show's a big guy. He's big. He's a big burly guy.
Like White
if you're
Matumbo.
joining- He's rough and tumble.
White Matumbo.
He's White
rough and
Matumbo.
tumble. He's wait, what did you call him?
White Matumbo, bro. You
White
don't remember,
Matumbo.
You don't remember Matumbo from back in the day?
Dikembe Matumbo?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Dikembe Matumbo, Dikembe Matumbo, Dikembe Matumbo.
I've met him like 20 times too. I
have
met
you
him at
really?
Wawa actually. Yeah, he was in Philly for a long time. Yeah, he was living here.
Oh, look at that. Wonderful. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Just a little program note. We do it every week, people. You don't get the full show. No, I'm afraid we just don't give that shit away for free. You get a bunch of the show, but you don't get the full show. You see, people, the only way to get the full, unedited, uninterrupted, commercial-free, inflation-busting version of the show is by going to patreon.com/break the app. For the low inflation busting price of just $5, you get tons of unedited shows going all the way back to show number 1, plus monthly bonus shows that consist of question and answer shows exclusively made up of questions from the Patreon members like Joe S. and Vince Chichi and Jose G and Mr. Isaacs and Bob Fernando and Nate Taver and Johnny Florida and Bruno Camano and JR and Charlie Digital Lizard and Papa Mike Brown and Jay and Brandon McIntyre and Carrie Goldberg. Congratulations, Mr. Carrie Goldberg, to you and the lovely new bride. Sal Phoenix, Cockboy, Gary Thorpe, Vic Condor, John Hennef, Justin Ludwig, Anthony Alston, Terrell Thibodeau, Leonard Van Dune, Cushion Pusher, MJW Games, Larry Trailer, Michael, Randy Shepard, Joe Punches. We've got Don't Move Dirkbag. He's always changing his name, messing me up with that. Don't Move Dirkbag. That's actually a really good name. Jamie Pennycook, the podcast icon himself, Mr. Don Tony, has joined the fray. Jarrett Maloney, Walter Villani, Mr. Darren Gatt, Galactic Wrestling Federation, Tyler Simpson, Austin Red, Steve Shaw, Bravo Needs Bacon, Stephen Teasdale, Marquise Johns is here, Ruben is here, Anthony Jeter is here, Joe is here, Stello Eccles is here, my good buddy Ronald Anderson is here, Adam Bergone is here. We have Emmanuel, Amy Foley, Jeff Littman, JB Buff Bell, Jarek Braxton, Kevin Mathurin, Michael Smith, Rivers Johansson is with us, Jude, Matt, John Bernstein, Cloudy, Joseph Mara, Willie Thompson, Chris Matthews, Cherry, Jesus, Roxy Mike is here, JReb92, Texas Sal, Mark Gordon, The Purple Haze, and of course, Danny Douglas, Paul Stockwell, John Garcia, Fatty316, Richard Todd is here, James Gruesome, Daniel Clark, Deliverance, Christopher Kane, and the half Persian, half Irish, 100% Texas rattlesnake, Mr. Drew Yari. Let's go to some pluggy pluggertons. Oh, I just spit all over my monitor. Deathmatch Outlaws, the adorable Drew Yari show. Cassette Classics 86 on YouTube. The Down Under Thundercast. The Don Tony Show. Necromaniacs podcast covering antlers this week. Definitely want to check that out. The Inhuman Experience podcast. Ringsiders Wrestling on YouTube. I'm always on that show. Mojo and Dirk's Most Dastardly Show. And of course, we have The Garden of Doom featuring Jeb Lippenstein. Off the Mat, the Old Guy Metalcast. FunkBetty.com. Still time to get some great clothes for the winter. It's fucking freezing. Why aren't you going to funkbetty.com and get yourself some cool winter clothes? Makes no sense not to do it. You should do it right now. MJW Games, Cherry Jesus on YouTube, the Red River Podcast, Sam is banging out some big time guests. Big time guests. You got to be checking out Red River Podcast. Shit, they're getting big guests on that motherfucker. And of course, Playing Dead's 5-song EP is just coming out. It's fabulous. Bayou Geeks, that's our friend Fatty 316. Then we have the High Marks Podcast, the Midnight Mass, Creature Cast, the Weekly Detour with Anthony Alston and Teddy, Guns and Geeks Podcast, and of course we have Planet Mondo Podcast on YouTube, Halloween 365. Shot, let the people know what's going on, Planet Mondo.
So this past week, I actually had Joe Numbers from the Soup on, and it's
Joseph
actually one of my
Numbers.
Yeah, you know the guy. I actually had a fantastic episode with him. Go check it out. Go out of your way to check it out. It's got a lot to do with the previous episode with the girls that I had on, where we're debating kind of like the 50-50 and the gold digging and all that. We got into therapy and trauma and women being gold diggers and all kinds of crazy shit. So definitely go check it out. Everyone that has listened to it got something out of it. So I think, a little bit for everybody. Actually, second part is going to be coming up this upcoming week. And then I got a shit ton of other episodes pre-recorded already. So a lot going on at Planet Mondo. Please leave a review. I would greatly appreciate that. Planet Mondo, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, pretty much everywhere you can find it.
Excellent. And be sure to let everybody know what's going to be happening with Halloween 365.
Name change is imminent. I've got about 3 or 4 names narrowed down. I'm just trying to decide on. Thanks to everybody who gave me some feedback on that. Had not a lot of time this week to get anything going. Depending on how deep we get on Texas Chainsaw, I might do a video kind of going a little deep on some of the themes that I picked up on that I haven't seen anyone really talk about yet. And I've been reading a little bit too. So some scripts, some books that movies were made off of. I bought Books of Blood, volume 1 through 4 of Clive Barker. So that should be interesting.
Big fan of the Clive Barker's books.
So I'll have a lot to talk about. Just don't have a whole lot of time to do it right now. So stay tuned.
Well, the B stands for Burley, and the T stands for time. He's on Burley time, people. He's got to make some free time. He needs some F time instead of Burley time. And of course, do me a favor. It's not looking like we're doing the summer show for my old band. It might happen. It might not. I don't know. Half the guys are holding it up for spite. So it's just like it's always been. It's very retro to do that to me. Go to Synthetic 16, spell out that 16 on Spotify, Apple Music, and Bandcamp, and download our album Too Far Along. And if it was the last show, I will find out what happened to that video, and maybe we'll get it up on the website there, so everybody could check it out. But yeah, spell out that 16. Go to Spotify, Apple Music, and Bandcamp. So we're going to get to the elephant in the room, which is the global war that's taking place right now. Oh my God, in the Ukraine.
What you mean, people who liked Texas Chainsaw and people who hated it?
Well,
that war?
I wanted to get into that. So this weekend that just passed, I took some personal time for myself, and I watched a bunch of movies, right? So before we get into the topic at hand, I wanted to check out a couple of movies. So one of the movies I watched, I went and saw in the movie theaters, was Licorice Pizza, the Paul Thomas Anderson movie, and it's fucking great. I absolutely loved it. It's probably the best movie I saw all year. I know it's nominated for a bunch of awards. It's pretty fucking fantastic. I highly, highly recommend it. It's based, I think, mid-70s. I don't know what year in the 70s, but it's got a lot of heart to it. Very smart movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman's son is the star in it. I don't know his first name. He's never acted before. And Alana Haim from the band Haim is the female star who has also never acted before. And they're both fucking great. Bradley Cooper's got a small part in it. That's great. Sean Penn's got a small part in it. That's great. And Charlie, his wife from It's Always Sunny, plays the mom in a very weird role. I recognized her immediately. And even though I haven't watched It's Always Sunny in like 5 years, but
wait, this is a Wes Anderson joint?
No, this is Paul Thomas Anderson. Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood.
Okay.
Yeah, he's great. Can't remember the last thing he did, but I loved it. I thought it was fucking brilliant. The music, the clothes, the theme, everything about it, man. It's really fucking wonderful, and I highly recommend it. So I saw that, and then I watched a movie that everyone was talking about on Netflix, not the one you're going to think about, called Power of the Dog. It's nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. Jane Campion, I think she's pronounced as Campion. She did a movie called The Piano. She's actually the first woman ever nominated for an Academy Award for Best Director. She did not win, but The Piano was the movie she directed. I had heard this movie was fucking great, and there's a lot. It's got a lot of heat on it, and I thought it sucked. I could not get into it. I do not recommend it. I thought it was very choppy and weird and just strange. I just couldn't. It just didn't flow well for me. People love it. It's on everybody's top list, which is unusual for me to not like it. But the performances are good, but it's not. I don't know. I thought it was shit. Cumberbatch is kind of like the star of the movie, and Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst and a kid. I can't remember his name. It's a weird film, man. I don't know what they were trying to. I just don't know why everyone's on the dick of that movie. And then, guys, I didn't tell you. I finally got around to watching the Car Fucker movie, Titani, whatever. That is now on Hulu. Were you guys aware that the Car Fucker movie is on Hulu?
I was not, but I really want to see that. I think it's called Titane, isn't it? Titane?
Yeah, Titane.
That's what it is.
I
want to see that.
Hulu, right?
I do not. We were talking about picking it back up, but that's one of the ones we don't have right now.
Yeah, Hulu's getting some sick horror movies, so I recommend it.
Black Friday.
So I'm not what Black
Friday is the time to get Hulu. I got Hulu for a whole year for like $6.
Jesus Christ.
50 cents a month.
But yeah, Black Friday's like 10 months away. So it's a little bit of a problem. So I watched the Car Fucker movie. I did not like it. I don't understand why everybody loves it. I don't understand why it won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. I'm just being honest. I didn't like it. I just didn't. I wanted to like it. I found it to be very boring. I found the woman, the star, to be very very uncomfortable. And I can't give away the plot. Car fucking is not. I thought it was literally like she just fucks a bunch of cars like they're Transformers, like and they bang her. But she, without giving away too much, it's really not about car fucking. It's not. And the whole, I really was like, I want to watch a movie where a woman gets fucked by Oldsmobiles. And I was like, oh, Titane, that sounds perfect for me. But it's not that at all. It's really about something completely else. Like that's a byproduct of it. And it's a part of the plot. I didn't get it. Shah, I think you're going to like it. I told my brother Mike about it. I want to get your guys' opinion when you finally do see it. But I just think they should have called it Car Fucker movie. Don't you think so, Bisha? I think it would have done better.
Absolutely. Just pneumatic dildo coming out like a fucking transformer and shit.
Yeah, like
that would have sold. That's money. Yeah.
Like that's what I wanted. But yeah, I mean, it is about a woman who fucks a car, but like, it's not,
is it actually like she actually fucks cars, bro? What?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give the plot away.
I'm intrigued,
but everybody knew, like we talked about it on the air. It was like this movie just won Cannes about a woman who fucks cars. And I'm like, okay, like, like I really want to see how that works. And then like, after she fucks the car, like you see, they show a close up of her like crotch in her drawers, like in her thong. And you see like dried gasoline, like where her badge
Bro, I have so many questions right now.
Is it like,
yeah.
Is it
no, I'm serious.
I'm
not
like,
making, by the way, I'm not
cuts?
making, I'm
no,
not
I believe
making
you. I believe you. I'm intrigued.
Not
Does the car honk when it's like about the climax?
Well, you know what's crazy is the car doesn't call her the next day. So that's kind of weird. Like
that's fucked up.
Figured like like the car totally ghosted her.
Is the cum shot like an oil change? Like how does that work? Is there actual cum shot?
She knows she's pregnant because oil is coming out of her vagina. Like I'm not.
She gets. I gotta see this.
I was gonna ask if she had an abortion. Like
she goes instead of going to Planned Parenthood, she goes to Jiffy Lube. And she goes to Jiffy Lube, and they're like, "Congratulations, it's a Chrysler." But
imagine five guys in her. That's like the porno. It's just like a bunch of cars. It's like no guys. It's just five cars.
But to be honest, like it's a backstory of some. There's two other huge parts of that movie. People love this. Like people are like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. It's artistically, and everyone in it is kind of gross. Like she's kind of gross. Like I don't know. It's very weird.
Fucking a car and motor oil's coming out of her pussy. She got to be gross,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, and I mean, I don't know. And it's French, so it's like right off the bat, whatever. It's. I don't know. Maybe I look. I don't know. If you have Hulu, watch it. It's called Car Fucker. I call it the Car Fucker movie. But so I watched that, and then I finished Gomorrah, which is kind of depressing. I didn't like the finale that much of Gomorrah, but whatever. I highly recommend. It's a brilliant TV show.
Is this Car Fucker movie getting like a Criterion? Is it like Criterion worthy?
It won Cannes. It's got like a 90.
I'm serious. Like I can
yeah.
see Criterion putting this out.
Yeah,
They do weird.
No,
shit
it's like a huge movie. I mean, it's fucking enormous. Like the movie is like.
I gotta
enormous.
see this.
It needs a franchise. Son of Carfucker, Bride of Carfucker, The Carfucker Returns.
Yeah, gonna get a whole category on X videos and Pornhub, which is cars.
They give birth to they give birth to like an electric car or some shit. I don't fucking. But there is like, you know, I can't tell you too much more about it, but it's called. Just put in Carfucker movie and then it'll come up in Hulu. But it's called Titani.
Do you remember in the first Jackass when the guy had a little car stuck in his asshole?
Yeah.
When he
fucked the car and he was just carrying a little baby car in him. I have so many questions now. I wonder.
I can't tell you. I have to.
Let's end the show so I can go watch this. I gotta go.
Watch it tonight.
I can't even do the show anymore.
Get the text me and be like, dude, this movie was fucking great. You know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm gonna love it. I already know. This is so weird. I'm gonna love it.
I'm just gonna be very vapid about it, and then I'm gonna move on because there's no way to say this great. I found her to be kind of gross. Like
in what way though? Like physically gross? Like she looks gross?
She has to do something for 3/4 of the movie.
Oh, so her actions made her gross, not her.
No,
physical.
like
Gotcha.
she has to do something.
She's a whore.
She's
a whore.
It's not. Even when I saw the trailer, I was like, here's a weird looking guy who's on steroids. And then there's like, he's shooting steroids into his ass. And it's just like, I was like, oh, this is like, and it's like, they show a lot of car scenes, like a lot of, but it's like, it's a little bit of a mislead. It's kind of misleading. Like there's just, I mean, honestly, I just think she should have fucked a lot more cars and I would have probably liked the movie more. So anyway, watch it, check it out. But the big thing coming out of the weekend, which people are still talking about, especially in the horror community, is the Netflix exclusive release of the sequel to the original. Was it what year Chainsaw happened? 74?
76, 74?
Yeah, I think it was 76 or 73.
I don't think it was 76.
73 maybe.
I don't know. We should probably jump that.
I think it's actually 73.
The original, which is one of the greatest, I think. I don't even like calling it a horror movie because I think it's one of the greatest independent films ever made. The true sequel, what they're calling the true sequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
1974. Sorry,
I said 74. Yeah. This is a very polarizing movie, and we're all gonna talk. We're talking about this for the first time. So I watched the movie on a Saturday night, and you know what that means. But before I went over the cliff, before I kind of crossed into the abyss of edibles and bourbon, I finished it. I watched the movie. It's not even an hour and a half long. All right. B-Show, I'm going to let you do the honors first. Tell the people what you thought. Let's not give plot away too much, but tell the people what you thought of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix.
Man, I really enjoyed it. I was annoyed by some of the principal characters. I thought there was some very punchable performances. But overall, man, it was just a gory mess. It was set up. It was simple. And it was just easy to enjoy. It was an easy movie where I was laying in bed, I think Sunday night, and I just turned it on. And I just sat there and I watched it for an hour and 15 minutes, and it was enjoyable. I mean, sure, are there some plot holes? Of course. Sure, is there some bad acting? But like, I think people need to stop expecting slasher movies to be Casablanca. I mean, if you look back to some of the tentpole slasher movies, or even some of their knockoffs, so, you know, the original Texas Chainsaw, Halloween, Friday the 13th, My Bloody Valentine, any number of them, the acting is not fantastic. The plot is hard sometimes to follow. The original Halloween, without knowing who he's supernatural, he gets shot and now he's gone. How does that make sense? He's a human. Like the whole hook of the end of the movie doesn't make sense. It's not logical. So
you almost went into a Seinfeld voice there. You were a second away from doing like a Seinfeld. Like
what's the deal with Michael Myers?
What's the deal with getting? Usually, when you get shot, you don't get up.
I shot him 6 times. Sorry. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was a bloodbath. I think there were some things that I was expecting, not to give anything away, but they used tropes of this generation. I thought they were going to be really corny and some of the dialogue was ham-fisted, but it made sense. It really made sense.
Okay. Shaheen, your review, spoiler-free review of Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix.
I love the movie. I hate people because people are just so annoying nowadays, man. It's so annoying. Like, I think people just hate fun. You know, I really liked the movie coming out. And then after like 3 days of people arguing with me about it, I found myself disliking it more and more because they started
Really?
like pointing. Yeah, because they're pointing out shit that I didn't even notice. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, just let me have my fun. I liked it. And now you got to put all your goddamn thoughts in my head and then fucking mislead me. And now, you know, it's not that serious. Let people enjoy it. You know, I had people hit me up sometimes. They're going to unfriend me over it. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, it's polarizing. I mean, this is like
obviously
COVID.
Joking around.
It's like the COVID of fucking horror movie.
I thought it was good. I don't know, man. I thought the gore was amazing. The practical effects was fucking all.
Oh my God, yeah.
About it. I thought it was fucking phenomenal. The only thing that I really didn't like was that I could tell it was a set. Like you could feel the vibe and tell it wasn't Texas.
I was going to bring that up. Okay, I was going to bring that up. So
it felt hollow. You know what I mean? Like it felt like empty houses, and I know that's what they were going for, but it just it didn't seem real. It looked like
a Wild West set from like the 50s or something.
Yeah, it looked like if you literally just like had like a bad fucking like, you know, like a snowblower, like the houses would knock over. You know what I mean? Like it didn't look like legit houses.
Cardboard houses.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I'm going to give my opinion on it. I really liked it a lot, and I accepted it for its faults, and its faults are legion. I really enjoyed it, and I will I'm going to spoiler free it. First of all, I love the fact that it clocks in at an hour 22. There is no reason for a horror movie to be 2 hours or like over 2 hours. There is no reason for a movie about a guy who puts people's skin on his face and chases them with a chainsaw to be 2.5 hours. So fuck that shit. Loved it. Secondly, I loved the brutality of the film. It is fucking, and I would say this as someone who has watched a million horror movies. This is one of the goriest fucking movies I've seen in a very long time. I'm talking about new movies. I have not seen this level of practical gore, like on a fucking Netflix movie. Like, nah, like you just don't see this shit. Also, I really did enjoy the whatchamacallit, I'm forgetting something pretty obvious here. Oh, this is just my thing. The star of the movie is a girl whose name escapes me, who I saw in a movie that was pretty big a few years ago called Eighth Grade. The kid's only about 18 now. When I saw that movie 3 years ago, I saw it because people were telling me about it, and I thought that was the best film I saw that year. And I think his name was like Eloise Fisher or something. She's a very young kid. She played the young version on the Castle Rock show of the Misery character, of the Kathy Bates character. She played the child version of her a couple of years ago on, I think, on a Hulu show. I can't remember it because I couldn't get into it, but I couldn't believe that this was the girl from Eighth Grade. It blew me away.
Elsie Fisher?
Elsie Fisher, yeah. This kid she's very talented actress, this kid. And she was hot shit from she was nominated, I think, for a Golden Globe. And she should have got nominated for an Academy Award. I'm not even joking. And I don't say things like this flippantly. Like, you know, I'm really into shit like this. So when I saw she was the star of the movie, I could not fucking believe that was the case. There's also a kid from a TV show about Chicago that I like, called the Chi. I don't know how it's supposed to be abbreviated. The Chi. He's one of the stars of the movie too. So it's just very strange to me. I was like, there's the girl from Eighth Grade. There's the kid from the Chi. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce it. Chi for Chicago. And I'm like, wow, this is very randomness. But I will say, of all the criticisms of the movie, my primary criticism, and we will not get into plot, but my primary criticism is the fact that this fucking movie was shot in Sofia, Bulgaria. Why the fuck is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre being shot in motherfucking Bulgaria? Okay, because the movie didn't look cheap, guys. It didn't look cheap. Like the quality, it didn't look indie cheap. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's like, why the fuck are they shooting this movie in Bulgaria? And like Shaheen said, that was not good. That is a very tough thing to overcome when you're watching the film, I think. Bisho, did you notice that clearly this was not shot in the United States when you were watching it?
Maybe not the United States, but it definitely looked like it was shot on a set. One of my biggest criticisms of it is I'm not a fan. Like, it looked like, you guys remember House of Wax that came out in 2005 or six?
Not even a little bit. And I did see it. It was awful.
No, I
One
never
with
saw it.
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, that's why I saw it.
Yo, fuck that, dude. Fuck that.
It's actually not bad. It's not that
I was
bad.
curious. I was just curious. I was curious when it came out. I was like, "Oh, Paris Hilton's. I got to see this." Like, because she was fucking smoking hot back then. Everybody
Yeah.
was on her dick.
It looked just like that movie, not just because it had a similar feel to it, but the look. It was too sleek, too shiny. It looked like a mid 2000s horror movie. So that might be one of my only critiques. Plus, like, the really obvious orange and green lights everywhere. Like, I got it a little bit, but it looked like 1,000 other, like, it. I don't know. The color grading looked like a ton of other horror movies that I've seen. So other than that, I mean, I did notice, because the town looks almost identical in some ways to the fake town in House of Wax. But
Okay.
other than that, that really, those are my only major complaints. I could see through everything, or see past everything else.
Okay, I'm going to ask you guys a very key component question with no spoilers. What did you think of Leatherface? Shah, you first.
Let me say one more thing before I get into that. I did like, I don't know if this is like a Bulgarian thing. I did like the sunflower fields. Like, that added.
I did like that.
I don't
did
know
like that.
why it looked
Like the poppy, like poppy fields almost.
Yeah,
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 that was
sunflowers.
weird.
Yeah,
It looked a lot
Yeah.
more fucked up. You know what I
I
mean?
did
Than like
like
a
that.
cornfield.
I did like
you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
expected a cornfield in Texas. This looked different, and him, just popping out in the middle.
When he
of
just
it,
pops out, I
yeah,
fucking
dude.
did.
That
dig
was, I was like,
actually.
yo,
Yeah.
you bastard. I was like, I love
creepy.
that.
That
shit.
was creepy as fuck.
As far as Leatherface, I love Leatherface. I love the
Yeah.
old version. My only complaint was that the mask wasn't stitched out of like 10 different faces. But then again, I understand why, because it
Plot.
right.
We don't
So
want. Yeah.
it made sense. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The only other complaint that I have is like the woke shit, man. I'm a progressive person. I'm tired of it in horror movies. So let's stop doing this shit. And again, this was like very minuscule. It wasn't like the whole fucking movie.
It was very
you
minuscule.
know.
Yeah.
But it was still annoying though. Like I didn't like the cast. I was ready for everybody to die like 5 minutes into the movies. I was like, dude, kill everybody.
Yeah, and the girl who looked like Arnold Horshack, I didn't understand that at all. Like,
Yeah.
I like.
And the girl you're talking about, man, she looks 12. Like there was a,
She's
scene that
18.
kind of made me feel uncomfortable. I know, but she looks
Yeah.
literally like 12. Like she looks 12.
She's playing 12 in 8th grade in the movie. You should have seen the movie. 8th grade.
I believe it.
It's a brilliant fucking movie. Brilliant movie.
I love
Bisho, your
Leatherface.
thoughts. Bisho, your thoughts on Leatherface?
I thought probably the best since Gunnar Hansen, and that's not a knock on R.A. Mahaloff, but he looked the part. He was maybe a partial size queen, but looked the part. He was big. He was intimidating. He just had, when you saw his eyes, you saw intensity. The few times you see, he looks like if Leatherface was gone for 40 years and someone found him. I mean, oh my God, he really lived up to, I think, that role. And one of my favorite parts of the movie, it's kind of interesting, I'm weird in these ways, was the sound design. I wanted to bring this up too. I watched it with headphones on, so maybe that had something to do with it, but like the cutting sounds, and there's one very specific scene that everyone will notice now that I said this. I'm not going to say the scene, but the cutting sounds, it sounds like it's disgusting. Every time he drops the chainsaw and it thuds on the ground, it really added for me to the experience, because it was more natural. It felt like you were in the movie.
Yeah, I agree. The sound is great, but I have to say the brutality, like Leatherface kills a lot of people in this movie, brutally, viciously, and graphically, with a chainsaw, which is in the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he only kills one person with a chainsaw. Look, we're horror snobs here. We sort of are. I enjoyed it. I would say one of my primary favorite things is that he doesn't go in the movie, which is fantastic. He doesn't do that. So I say check it out. I understand the criticisms, but we're not watching. This is not The Godfather. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I enjoyed it. I was great. I was grateful for the things I liked about it, and I liked the ending quite a bit. There's a Laurie Strode thing that was not necessary and that did not have the big payoff. So I don't know what the point of that was, but what a polarizing film. It's the most downloaded movie, I think, in Netflix history and the worst reviewed. So go figure.
Hey, you know what though? A lot of people are complaining about it, but I think they're gonna make more of this because this right here started a lot of conversations. Though it showed that Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2022 is still very much relevant.
Yeah,
whether good or bad.
By the way, very few people brought this up. Props to John Larroquette for narrating the fucking beginning, just like he did in 1974.
That's right.
Great.
Yeah.
How fucking great is that?
That got me primed for the movie.
Great is that? How much did you guys like that first 5 minutes, though? I thought that was fucking great.
Attention to detail, man. I loved it.
Oh, God.
I liked the whole movie, dude. I didn't like the cast necessarily. I didn't really like the cast.
Wait,
but
I mean, the good thing about a cast in a horror movie is what, Sean?
They die. But I'll give them that. They were good actors and actresses. Like it was good acting for a horror movie.
The kid's great. A lot of people watched that Castle Rock, the prequel to Stephen King books and stuff like that. I just couldn't get into them. I couldn't get into them. I don't know what it was. I just didn't like the way they flowed. But check it out. I'm sure you'll have a polarizing opinion. I'm sure people will give us their opinion on it. But we go from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to the Ukraine massacre. Boy, it's shocking. I'm not, this is a joke show, but it's shocking. It's kind of like one of these things when like when you're on the highway and a guy is driving erratic and you just know the accident's coming, right? Like you just know that the guy whizzing in and out of lanes without turn signals is going to do something really bad and you just want to distance yourself from it. That's what this kind of feels like. But this is also becoming an extremely polarizing circumstance. As we speak, it's nighttime on the 24th, and earlier in the day, there's a firefight. There was actual fire. I think something like 160 missiles have been fired into the Ukraine. They took Chernobyl back. Russia took Chernobyl back. Yes, Chernobyl. Yes, that Chernobyl. That was the first thing to fall to the Soviets, to the Russian army. There's a war going on. There's actual shooting, rockets, bombs. It's real. And it's upsetting. I mean, it is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what we're waking up to in the morning with the time differences and everything else. There is a very deep concern about escalation. We put more troops. We moved more U.S. troops to the Ukraine. We haven't gotten involved in any firefighting as far as I know, or anything like that. Right now, it's basically the Ukrainian army, which they have a formidable army, but nothing like the Russian army. It's not looking good. Shah, what was your thoughts as you were hearing this escalate, like actually really happening today?
I'm kind of scared. Not necessarily for myself. I don't necessarily think anything's going to happen to us, possibly. I mean, maybe. I'm not ruling it out. But I hate seeing it happen to any country, man. Again, I come from a country that went to war. You know what I mean? Like I saw the destruction of it afterwards. My family owned property that got bombed, that they lost. Like it's not a fun time. You know what I mean? Like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people died in that war. And I hope this is not a similar case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Russia is the one country, man. They're the scariest white people on earth. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I literally mean that. They're the scariest fucking white people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, like they really are. I mean, they're very scary people. I'm older than you guys, so I grew up with that sort of fog of, the Cold War and Russia and the Russian villains in the movies and the Rocky and the Red Dawns and the this and that. And it's just, I don't know. Bisho, what was your thoughts as this was escalating through the day?
They're with the shits, you know what I mean? Like they're all of them. They're with the shits, like whatever level you want to take it to, they're with that shit,
Yeah, they're with it. Yeah, they're ready to go. Bisho, what was your thoughts as it was escalating?
It was one of those things where like you knew it was coming, but when it happened, it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Because I don't
like
think
when I sit on my balls. Yeah, totally.
That's right. You feel you're lowering yourself. And you're like,
I feel them slipping down, and then I'm sitting, but I'm not going to get up, and I just kind of let it happen. I just kind of rest on them a little bit until it hurts. Mm-hmm. But what were you saying there? Be like like what I said about the car accident. Right?
Yeah, man. It's like I remember. It's the way I felt almost when we invaded Iraq in 2002. where it's like I've been waiting for something like this for a long time because it's just inevitable. War is going to happen. But it scares the shit out of me. It's one of the first times in a long time where I've legitimately felt like, oh my God, what is the world going to be like when I wake up in the morning? So,
and we really don't know, honestly. Like there could be so much worse shit that happened from the time we're recording this to the time people get it in the day, in 12 hours, 15 hours or whatever. I mean, it's really that volatile, right?
100%. And one of the big concerns right now from Ukraine is what's going to happen with them overtaking Chernobyl. Are they? Can
what
they
the
keep
fuck
it going?
is that? Seriously,
imagine.
What the fuck? Chernobyl now? Like that's still a thing? What the fuck is that?
Oh. It's like imagine a military unit.
That was the first thing they took. That's the first thing they took, and it was a fierce battle. Like people said, oh yeah, they're saying it was a brutal battle. Like they were protecting the nuclear facility, and they just fell. I mean, Shah, when you heard they took over a nuclear power plant, at that point, were you just basically thinking, maybe you don't have to pay your bills this month because you won't have a house?
Dude, it's hilarious. It's funny you say that. A friend of mine, I was talking to her earlier, and she was talking about, I got to pay this and that. And I was like, don't even worry about it. Like we might not even make it tonight. That's the last thing you should worry about right now. Like, yo, have you seen Russians
coming up? I mean, but we might not have a first of the month.
Yeah, don't even worry about that. Just don't, fuck it. Don't actually listen to me. Pay your bills if you can. But I'm just saying.
Bills, people. Yeah, don't. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Will get shut off. Yeah.
I'm just saying. And I also hate most people. I mentioned this on my Facebook. Most people that I saw that are in the younger generation were not talking about this until Cardi B put out a fucking TikTok about it.
Yes. Can someone tell me the Cardi B TikTok? I don't want to listen to it, but I would like someone just to tell me.
She was programmed. She was just programmed to give a speech. Like you could tell she has no idea what she's talking about. This is literally a script she's reading. Was she just doing
anti-war propaganda?
Like, exactly. Yeah. Okay, just like inflation, and we're all living through hard times.
Inflation?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. She couldn't even say it. I was like, dude, come
inflation?
On. Like, why are you doing this
nuclear
to this girl?
Proliferation? Now you got to worry about nuclear proliferation.
Good God.
Bisho, what did you take from the Cardi B TikTok? I know you're a big Cardi B fan. You have a whole sock under your bed dedicated to Cardi B videos. What do you take from this, Cardi B? Do you think maybe we need to send Cardi B to discuss this with Putin? Would that help the circumstances?
I think it would fix the circumstances, John. I think our priorities need to be straightened out, and sending Cardi B as a peace offering would really help things. You know what? It's interesting though, until I don't know. I didn't hear anyone talking about this other than us in our circles until Cardi B started talking about it. So I know I usually roll my eyes and fucking gag when I hear people who shouldn't be talking about this shit. But at least she did shed some light on the Ukraine-Russia situation. So maybe it's not all that bad.
Well, one thing that I did see somebody mention, I don't know who this was, but somebody did mention something very, very significant here, which is going to be a byproduct of what's happening, is that there may literally be up to 5 million displaced Ukrainian refugees fleeing that region. Okay? 5 million fucking people fleeing the region as refugees. I mean, this is an international motherfucking crisis. Okay, we cannot shake that. That's not something you just go, oh, tuck titties. You know what I mean? 5 million people. 5 million. I mean, like, where are these 5 million people going to go? You know what I mean? So that's a huge. There's going to be a humanitarian crisis. There's definitely going to be an ecological crisis from all these fucking bombs and shit going off. I mean, I don't know how. I just see people fighting over the most minutia, these luxury beliefs that on a global scale are meaningless in the face of like military conflict, and we've spent all this time focusing on these luxury beliefs while this crisis was building up. And I did an interesting thing today. I did a deep dive as to what caused the conflict. Are you guys? I know most people aren't, and that's fine. I mean, why would we be? It's like everybody's walking around going, "I know exactly why this is happening." And I don't saying I know exactly, but I did a deep dive. I did a deeper dive. Has this prompted either one of you to do a deeper dive as to what exactly brought us to this point?
One of my friends thought it was about gas, so I sent some. Yeah, and obviously, so I sent him some articles. So I read a little bit about it. I know it had a lot to do with voting and them not obviously being
NATO.
inducted. Yeah, NATO.
NATO. Bisho, has this prompted you to do a deeper dive to figure out why we got here, how we got here?
I have not dug out my extra large Encyclopedia Britannica, but it has to do with annexation of land and shit and joining NATO. But go ahead.
Yes. So basically, and I'm not a history teacher, so this is just from what I remember, and this is a very complex circumstance. I'm not undermining the fucking complexity of it, but we had the Soviet Union, and the Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, and they were basically one culture. And then the Soviet Union fell, in like 94? I think it was 94. And then these other countries sort of, became independent. And then Russia became Russia. And NATO, the whole reason NATO was formed after World War II was to prevent the spread of communism, right? So now you have these former communist republics that were part of the Soviet Union now looking to join NATO, right? And you have this leader in Russia who literally considers the fall of the Soviet Union as the greatest disaster in the 20th century. Like, he's actually said this, right? Like, this is the blight upon blights of their culture. And he also feels that the culture is so interwoven into Soviet culture. So Putin makes these outrageous demands, right? These outrageous fucking demands. The first demand is that none of these countries are allowed to join NATO. The other demand is that the United States has to no longer provide military nuclear aid to any of these countries, like in NATO or something like that. And it's basically like he makes like these three outrageous demands, and they're so fucking outrageous. Like, one's like they'll never join NATO. The other one is that they have to pull all we have to get rid of all of our bases in Eastern Europe or some shit. Like, it was shit that we're not going to do. Like, it was basically make like a child, asks you for like a car. You go, well, I'll buy you a car if you get an A in every class, and every morning you wake up and mow the grass and shovel. It's like you make these outrageous, and Putin was doing this to be a douche. And he basically said, if we don't meet these demands, there's going to be some shit. So the demands were outrageous, and they involved the West. They involved the United States, right? Because he saw the United States culture was permeating into places like Georgia and Crimea and the Ukraine. Like he saw that like democracy was spreading. And NATO, like I said, the existence of NATO was to prevent the Soviet Union, communism, from spreading. So of course he doesn't want those countries to go in. But then he was like, yeah, the US can't provide military aid to any of these countries or whatever. And it's like, who the fuck are you to tell us that we can't provide aid? So he was a dick for no reason. Putin's being a dick for no reason, right? Because I think no matter what we would have done, they want that Iron Curtain back. They want the area back. They want it back. They want the Ukraine back. And we're not going to concede to this guy's demands. I get that. But this is where having strong leadership comes in to fucking meet these demands. And I honestly feel like at this point in history, based on who we've been voting for the last bunch of years, no one takes these people seriously. So you can make these outrageous demands. I mean, seriously, you can make these stupid demands all you want to that we're never going to follow. But that's what it's really about. It's about these countries joining NATO, which is an organization which is the middle finger to communism, essentially. And these former communist republics they were becoming like democracies, and they were becoming westernized. And, they were buying our blue jeans and our Levi's and watching our TikTok videos. So, yeah, so that's what it is. It's Putin's being a dick. The guy's a scary motherfucker, man. I mean, what do you want me to do? I don't know what the solution is. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't think there is a solution for it.
There is. I think made it that way.
The thing that scares me is I know how serious he is. You know what I mean? Like I take his threats very seriously. Yeah. When this guy says I will bring destruction to your country if you fuck around, like I don't want to find out. I have a feeling he's serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shah, he's like a big guy when you're smaller than him, and you pick a fight when he goes, listen, I'm gonna fucking knock the fucking shit out of you. I'm gonna fucking punch you in the face.
Well, the thing is, he gives me the vibe that like he would kill 250,000 people in one night and go to sleep at 8 p.m. with like
Oh, yeah.
zero problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is
with
the
a
type
big
of guy.
boner, with a big Russian boner.
Yeah,
Probably
just
a big bear, Russian
doesn't
bear boner.
doesn't give a shit at all.
I could balance a vodka bottle on this thing. Holy shitski. B show, do you take Russia's threats seriously?
Fuck, obviously. I mean, they said 3 days ago, like, fuck around and find out. And now Ukraine found out. So
he's on a mission, yo. He's on he's like old school Iron Curtain fucking
he's
dude.
a former
I think-
FSB fucking Secret Service agent, dude.
Yeah, he's legit.
I think he also wants this though. He wants the drama. I think
wants to smoke.
He's been fiending for this shit. Yeah, I think he's been fiending for this for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is something I don't think he actually cares that much about Ukraine or Yugoslavia or any of that shit.
Well, here's the thing. He wrote like this crazy essay about how much he loves the Ukraine and the Ukrainian people and how important they are to Russian culture. And by the way, the actual Soviet Union, what we know as the Soviet, started in the Ukraine. Like the customs, the culture, that all started in the Ukraine. Like, you know, because they were they were like an extension of each other. Like he wrote this crazy essay comparing like their relationship with the Ukraine to our relationship with Canada. Like, you know, and that's, you know, like that like people are married to one another and they work. Some people even work in the different countries. Like, and it was a very cohesive point that he made, a salient point backed by insanity. And believe me, I'm not, don't get it twisted. We're not condoning anything Russia's doing. We're frightened by what Russia's doing. That's the big difference. You know what I'm saying? Like when a big scary guy just starts knocking people out in a bar, you know, I'm not like, yeah, knock everybody out in the bar, but I'm not looking to get knocked out either. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know how there should have been a road to diplomacy, but it just doesn't exist. It just does not exist for a litany of reasons. You know, I don't know how this ends without us getting involved because, you know, we're kind of a big part of NATO in terms of like, you know, and we support a lot of these. I mean, his whole thing was like, yeah, get the United States away from all of these countries in Eastern Europe and also have them promise that they won't provide military aid. If we, that was one of his conditions, was like, yeah, they can't use nuclear weapons to defend any of these countries if we attack them. That was one of his conditions. That's literally one of his conditions.
He pretty much also said he would smoke us if we get involved. You know what I mean? Like he said he would bring destruction like you've never seen before to any country that gets involved. So I mean,
let me tell you something. In your lifetime, this is the closest you've come to a global conflict. I know you've seen war, like you've seen real fucking war. I'm talking about a global conflict with massive superpowers. This is closer than the 80s, maybe since Bay of Pigs. This is the closest that we've come to actually have. Because you really think if we start a firefight with Russian soldiers in another country, can we start one with us?
Can we be serious for a second? Like, look, man, compare Americans to Russians, right? Do we really want that? Like, seriously, come on, man. Like you saw the protests, bro. People didn't want the smoke. You know what I mean? Yeah. People did not want the smoke. It's a lot of show. It's a lot of talk.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of us really want to go out there and fight. Russians, on the other hand, they want to fight. They're about that shit.
They love their country. Like they love their.
Yes,
I mean,
they're
that's
very prideful
too. They're very prideful. This is a matter of like, dude, here is a guy basically saying we had this great nation with all of these other smaller nations under our thumb, and we were all one people, and I want to bring that back. You know, because we're all the same people at the end. It's almost a unifying rally cry to these.
Sounds
people.
like Hitler, dude.
It does
sound like Hitler without we hate those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Hitler. Now, we live in a country where if you call somebody by the wrong name at a Starbucks, we're going to make a video. We're going to get you fired. You're going to lose your pension. You might end up homeless. People are going to threaten to kill you. They're going to show up at your house. So it's just like, here's one nation where they're basically saying, yeah, let's unify, let's get these countries back and be one strong nation again under this one regime because we're all the same people. And that you have this other country going, what did you just call me? What did you just say? Oh my, get my camera. Oh my God. Okay. So I was just in the store and and this man had the nerve to come, and that's our country now. That's the country we live in. The country they live in, They're fucking wrestling bears and fucking, arresting people for blowing up people in video games and shit. I don't know. I just don't think I want to fight people at a time when we're so divided and very lazy and very, very weak.
Dude, let's be honest.
Weak,
We have a
dollar is weak. We're weak right now.
We have a weak squad. We have a really weak squad.
We're weak.
It's not a,
We're
it's not a good look.
We're not rolling deep like right now.
It's not a good look, man. I don't want to get jumped by a bunch of Russians.
Zero respect for one another. We're too busy. We got focused. And it's almost like I feel like we got played. I really feel like somehow we got played. And there is proof that there were these troll farms that literally set this up to set this tone. Because let me tell you something. If you were ever going to fuck with the United States in the last 50 years, there's never been a better time. There's never going to be another time like this. The division, our presidents poll between 30 and 40%, regardless of who the fuck they are in the last 8 years. It's just like nobody, half the country hates the other half of the country. People don't talk to their relatives because of fucking the president or masks. People are fucking are showing up to school boards fist fighting over fucking, Toni Morrison books in the fucking library. We're in trouble, dude. And a lot of people saw this road coming, and nobody wanted to do anything about it because they were afraid they'd get in trouble. Because every time you bring up something, how unimportant some of these things are on a global scale, people attack you viciously. They attack you viciously. Dude, I shared what I thought was a rather innocuous sort of tweet by a guy who basically said, I don't know what's really going on, the complexities and the nuances of this thing, but you have to say the weak leadership in the United States and Canada is a big reason why this is happening. I thought this was a pretty cut and dry thing. Within 5 minutes, multiple people attacked me for posting this. Within 5 minutes. This is uniquely American. This country that was supposed to be the bedrock of it was that you could live the way you want to live and say what you want to say for the most part, and you can go on in a cohesive life. That's completely gone now. It doesn't exist. It doesn't fucking exist. And now the country, by the way, Russia's a pretty repressive fucking country. They don't exactly got a great track record with minorities and gays and trans people. Trust me, I saw a documentary on it. It's fucking horrifying. Do you know what it's like to be trans or gay in Russia? It's everything that you think it would be like to be trans or gay in Russia. There's an HBO documentary on it. Fucking horrifying. And it's today. This ain't no 1960 shit or fucking 1619, whatever. This is now. This is 2019. Right. Okay. This is the country that's angry at us. This is the country, a formidable country with massive nuclear weapons.
Dude, they literally put vodka in their IVs, man. I'm terrified of people like that. You know what I mean? If you go to the hospital,
guys, don't forget, they're backed by China, which is a fucking beast.
Yeah, another one.
Yeah,
another one you don't fuck with.
Another one that you don't want to. But by the way, great civil rights records there too. But we don't mind having the Olympics there. Let's have the Olympics in a country without civil rights for people. There's little concentration camps going on right fucking now in China. Literally, the equivalent of concentration.
Hey, got to keep that Nike deal though, LeBron. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but keep going there, NBA. Keep going there. We're all
can you imagine Russia and China and just a bunch of Asian countries, I don't know, everybody else that hates America, just
Russia, China, and North Korea.
Yeah, that's a terrible trio.
What are you gonna do?
It's a horrible trio, man. Holy shit.
What are we gonna do? Make a TikTok video?
The Russians are making TikTok videos as they're attacking Ukraine.
I saw that.
Did you crazy people? Yes, I did. These are the type of people you're fucking with, bro. They're making TikToks on their way to murder. This is not.
I can try to share that, but my Zoom keeps crashing when I try to share.
Just make sure you put your blood type next to your pronoun on your fucking body, so in case they're dropping bombs on you. I'm sorry. Look, I gotta admit, man, we deserve it. We fucked up.
Do you actually think this is gonna be a global world war? Do you actually think we're gonna get to that level where it's multiple countries just going?
I want everything in the world to stop it from getting to that level. I want.
Same, obviously.
But Shah, look at the division. We're an undivided. These are the most divided times maybe ever. Like we're living in very divisive, unpopular time. Like people hate the people they live next door to. People literally fucking hate the people. They hate their relatives. They hate their coworkers. They hate people in masks. They hate people without masks. They hate people who have minimum wage jobs. They hate people who don't have minimum wage jobs. Like there's just the hatred is a fucking insomnia that has engulfed our fucking society. And now at a time where countries are coming together to defend themselves or to ward off problems or to fucking overtake other fucking nations. Here we're sitting here fucking arguing about school boards and bathrooms and athletes and Joe Rogan and Voldemort words. And it's just like, and fucking Harry Potter and like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Syrup labels and fucking rice labels.
Like, this is not normal.
Uncle Ben's.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson, who wants to tell you about pronouns.
No, but I'm just saying, like, this is not normal. Okay. This is not, the people who do this don't win anything. You just lose. And we've been losing for a while now. And COVID and the George Floyd riots and the election and Trump, all of these things were just a little bit of another piece coming off. You ever have a nice leather couch and you get that one little crack because of the dog, or like, oh, it's just a little crack. It's not, but then the crack gets bigger and the crack gets bigger and the crack gets bigger and the crack gets bigger. And next thing you know, it's all cracked out. I mean, like you think a country with a president polling at like 31%, you think people are going to rally behind a fucking firefight in Eastern Europe in the 21st century? Like, what you think Biden's going to give some unifying speech that's going to make everybody start liking each other? We don't even have anything close like that from either one of these parties. They don't like each other. Like, how are we supposed to go defend our country or help another nation? Because Ukraine is going to be like, look, we need help. We're getting our ass kicked. They're getting killed already. They're getting their ass kicked already pretty quickly. And they have a formidable army. They're not a pushover people, the Ukrainians. They're not pushover people. Okay. And they're going to want help. And they're going to be like, you wanted us to join NATO. Where the fuck are you? We're fighting communism. Isn't that the point? Like we wanted to join this fucking place. So pay attention, fight with your cousin over Thanksgiving over the president at your own peril. Because I'm telling you, it's starting to look like we were played. I feel like we were played. When a very intelligent person that works at some, high profile job puts a tweet out saying that Putin is the greatest example of white privilege. And then Cenk Younger from the fucking Young Turks puts a similar tweet out, not sardonically, factually. Like we're still clinging to these things, even in the face of a global conflict that has nothing to do with this whatsoever. And no one bats an eyelash. Now, granted, a lot of sane people are going, this is fucking stupid. But the fact that someone woke up and felt empowered to say that the problem with Putin is white privilege, an educated person, like an otherwise probably smart person, right? But we're not that smart, are we? Because we've accelerated our dumb side, because we've been celebrating being dumb for a long time here.
What can we do though? Like, where do we go from here? What can we do?
I think
as a society, like your average everyday person that's not in the military, that's like, what can I do?
Stop fighting with people on the internet. I think that's the first step. I think don't attack somebody within 5 minutes when they say something you don't like on the internet, whether it's about a golf game, a movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Joe Rogan, Voldemort, whatever the fuck you people fight about on the internet, because I don't do that anymore. Cody Rhodes, stop fighting with people on the internet.
I honestly don't do it anymore either. After the Trump stuff, dude, I can't do it.
Stop. I don't do it.
I don't care. I don't know you people.
I'm not taking the bait.
In real life.
Not taking the bait. Don't care. People tried to do it to me today. Didn't do it. Don't care. That's the first step, because the first step is acceptance, right? Which, by the way, we've now weaponized. You're not allowed to accept people anymore. Once people stop doing that, the orthodoxy, whatever the orthodoxy of the culture is at the time, because the orthodoxy does shift. Right now, the orthodoxy is through the roof. Outrageous, crazy behavior, rat on people, yell at people for masks or not wearing a mask, yell at people for who they voted for, yell at people if they like Harry Potter, yell at people if they like Joe Rogan, yell at people if they sing a Biggie Small and forgot to censor themselves in their car with no one around, yell at people if they, told somebody they look like they gained a little weight, yell at people if they didn't acknowledge somebody who didn't lose a little weight, anything unless it's old. That's the only thing you're allowed to yell at people about being old. But stop fighting with people on the internet. Don't make a public persona of a culture where we just attack people for saying something we don't like on their worst day. We didn't used to do that. Because it was it wasn't until more people. And then honestly, I think the internet needs a massive fucking overhaul. I think it needs a massive, massive overhaul. I think we've gone a little too crazy with what we're allowed to not or not say on the internet. That's what I think. And then I also think this two-party system is a huge part of it too, but that's an unfixable problem right now. But I think the everyday person, honestly, Shah, if somebody posts something that you don't like, that you don't agree with, Frozen song that shit and let it go. Just let the motherfucker go. Move on with your day. Do something. Every time you're going to attack somebody for who they voted for, why don't you go feed an animal? How about that? Every time you're going to make a post about somebody not using your preferred pronouns in Walmart, why don't you go see if there's an old person in your community that really needs someone to shovel their driveway? Why don't you do that? Every time you're going to shit on somebody for saying, I still read Harry Potter books, I don't care about whatever the fuck the woman who wrote Harry Potter said. Before you go and do that, I don't know, maybe go see if the homeless person in the subway who you walked by in 0-degree temperature, maybe you got some clothes you can donate. Maybe you can go to maybe you can start donating some of your old clothes. Hey, you ever hear of a soup kitchen? A lot of people that aren't homeless are in soup kitchens because they got no money. Like do that. Do that. Every time you're going to yell at somebody for not liking AEW, maybe go on a website and donate some money anonymously to a really good charity. I don't know. Maybe we could do that. Why don't we try that? Try it.
Feed the squirrels. Feed the squirrels. It's cold. Feed the squirrels.
If you want a friend, feed any animal. Perry Farrell said that on Summertime Rolls. The mighty Perry Farrell. That's what I don't care. I'm watching you know what I do when somebody tries to pick a fight me on the internet? You want to know what I do? I watch dog videos. I'm not even making it up. I must have sent the kids like 6 dog videos in the last day. That's what I do. You know what I do when somebody makes a video, like I think specifically because they want a reaction out of other people. You know what I do? I watch a dog video. I watch a video about a dog getting adopted from a shelter who's been in it for fucking 700 days. Hey, you know what you should do instead of trying to attack people over their position on on something? Go to an animal shelter. Why don't you walk a dog? Be a dog walker. Volunteer being a dog walker at your animal shelter. Just don't be a dick. Stop being a dick. Stop trying to get attention all the time. What do you think, B? You think that could work?
I think we're too far beyond the pale. I mean, do you think we have too much freedom? And do you think that
I know Shah does.
I've been saying that for so long. Literally, we have too much fucking Americans don't want to hear it. I'm telling you, bro, too much of everything is not a good fucking thing. It's not. I'm not saying like, you take away all our freedoms and take away your guns and take away women. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we have way too much fucking freedom where we can just say whatever the fuck we want without any kind of repercussions. It creates entitlement at its finest. Like this is the most entitled.
I can see the relationship, Sean, but the reality is a lot of these freedoms have been here for a long time, and we didn't used to have this problem.
I know, but now that it is a problem.
I also think we have a lot of problem where we have to go backwards and look at everything through a lens of today, which I don't understand that at all. Like you could never make this movie today. Like who gives a shit? We're not living in that wasn't around then. So who gives a shit? There's no way they could ever make that movie now. Who cares? You're writing an essay about this? Like, well, who cares? What? Why? Who's interested in this? Like, there's no way that TV show would be allowed to air about now with prop time. Everybody would get mad. It's like, yeah, okay, right. Thank you. Who cares? How is this constructive? Like, seriously.
Well, we got like blood diamonds still like in Africa, like little kids are getting their limbs cut off and no one's talking about that. But let's talk about like 70s
I'm writing this essay about how Barney Miller was a problematic TV show while I'm using an iPhone made by a 7-year-old in a third world country. like you don't see that? You don't see that shit? Like no one gets it? It's like I'm sitting here with a laptop a $900 laptop talking about social inequality while I don't work. It's like I just
I
don't
mean, dude,
understand.
at some point though, like we're all kind of part of the problem, but you
Absolutely.
can't
I'm not
avoid it.
absolving myself.
Yeah,
I'd
like
never do
we
that.
can't avoid
I'll
it.
never-
You know, at some point, like we're all kind of a piece of shit. Like deep down
Yeah.
inside, like if you want to legitimately be like a good person, like you're right. You shouldn't have a phone. You shouldn't be wearing Nike. You should just literally do pretty much wear like hemp clothing and like live in the woods. That's a solid human being if you really want to be solid.
You're calling somebody else a fascist while you're wearing like clothes made by you're using a device made by modern day slaves, like literally modern day slaves. That like your clothes are made basically by impoverished slaves, or dare I say, indentured servants. You have no problem buying things, and everybody's like, "Oh, the death of retail. Oh, the death of retail." Excuse me, while I order some stuff on Amazon. It's like it's like the party I voted for doesn't do any of these things. Okay, here come the bombs. There's no start with yourself. Go, hey, what can I do? What can I do to make the world? No great person ever said, you know what you could do to make the world a better place? Point out what a piece of shit the other guy sitting next to you is. Like, I don't remember Martin Luther King doing that, or Gandhi, or Mother Teresa, like these people whose names will live on for as long as the earth keeps spinning. Like, I really don't recall that. I don't recall that being a thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just don't recall Mother Teresa, can you imagine Mother Teresa just tweeting hate shit all day about people in Calcutta that she doesn't like? It's just like, it's like, you're not a good person. I think that's the other thing too.
That
like,
cunt Gandhi thinks he's a good guy. Wait till I tell you what he just said.
It's like I don't understand this thing where our version of being a good person is pointing out that someone else is a piece of shit. It absolved us of any social responsibility. I did my job today. I attacked somebody from an opposing political party. It's like, but what did you really do? I attacked that person who represents ideology. I don't agree with his ideology, so I had to expose him for who he is. It's like, who the fuck is you, yo? Who the fuck is you? Honestly, who the fuck are you? I don't want to throw this person under the bus, and I'm going to be as cryptic as I can. Somebody very close to me within a span of 3 days said two very significant things in my presence. Okay. They said something about J.K. Rowling, and then they said something about Joe Rogan. And I'm not going to get too into it because I don't want to expose this person, but the person admitted to me that they had not heard anything that J.K. Rowling said about trans people, specifically that they could not name something that J.K. Rowling said that was inflammatory. And I don't have a horse in this fight. I'm just using this as an example. And then when I asked them, have they ever actually heard Joe Rogan's podcast? They said no. But they were very free to have these opinions because the orthodoxy is pushing them to make these declarative, unprovoked statements about things they did no research on. That is the problem. That is the crux of the problem. And I'm not talking about from one slant or another slant. I'm talking about the fact that someone will wake up and make these comments socially and publicly, doing zero research because the orthodoxy has told them that this is an okay thing for them to do. We got together and we said, we don't like this person. Okay, I'm going to say it too. Well, what don't you like about this person? Well, I don't know, but I read, somebody said,
Right.
I heard.
That goes to the cult thing, though. That's the cult.
Cults. We're all in
cult.
There's right cults, there's left cults, there's atheist cults, there's religious cults. Anybody different from you is in the wrong cult. I like this. Like, happened to me today. Within 5 minutes, got attacked. Within 5 minutes, unprovoked. These people could have they could have Frozen songed it, just let it go, just like Elsa in the Frozen song, which I've never seen, but I heard that's the character. Is it Elsa? Is that her name? Elsa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let it go, right? That's the song. But Frozen song it. Go on with your day. Go on with your day. Just go on with your day. Go on with your day. I made a post about Cody Rhodes. Got tons of heat. Lots of people. Couple people threw some shade in there. You know what I did? I Frozen songed it. Didn't care. I made a post about Meltzer blocking me. People thought it was fucking funny. One person took it a little too far. What did I do? I frozen songed it and I went on with my day. I went to work. I made a sandwich. I moved on because that's the normal reaction. I didn't make a comeback video. I didn't make a TikTok about it. You know what I mean? Because somebody dared to not agree with me on something. That's a crux. That's the part of the problem. That is part. And by the way, the media is a huge part of this problem because the media has done this now too. We have slanted media in different directions. We don't have a reliable media source. I had to ask Shah where I could find Al Jazeera because I couldn't find credible fucking war sources. I don't think I'm getting credible sources about the war. So I was like, let me go to BBC or Al Jazeera because I refuse to watch American news now. I will not watch any American news channel about the war, and neither should you. Nobody should because it's a slanted one. It's war coverage brought to you by Pfizer. War coverage brought to you by Raytheon. It's like, it's. You really think we're on the deep end? I think we could bring it back because we do have ultimately the power. If we stopped behaving this way, then we wouldn't commercialize it. We wouldn't weaponize it in our culture, right? If we stopped behaving this way, just stop attacking everybody. There's people getting attacked in a potential global conflict, and you're still fighting with your cousin about Trump. I can't, I just don't understand how this is a good use of anybody's time. I'll give you an example. This Kyle Rittenhouse thing, right? And I'm using this as an example. Kyle Rittenhouse supposedly is suing like everybody. He's suing Whoopi Goldberg. He's suing CNN. He's suing the Washington Post because they called him a murderer and a racist, right, on their network. Now,
Biden, I think he's suing Biden also.
Is he suing Biden? Yeah, Biden also called him a murderer, I think. Now, I'm not that invested in this. I think Kyle Rittenhouse is a fucking creepy weirdo, right? But I'm not going to live in this circumstance for the rest of my fucking life. I think he's a weird, creepy dude who probably should have got a hand job instead of a handgun. And I actually think that's a big part of the world's problem. I think if more people were banging, they wouldn't be typing away their hate against people. Because when people fucked more, by the way, young people are fucking less and less. There's way less fucking going on. There is so much less fucking going on right now because people have a general distrust of one another and a hatred towards each other. So, call me crazy, but we didn't seem to have all these problems when everybody was fucking. Okay. So maybe
I think there's more fucking than ever. You think so?
There's less. No, dude, there's less fucking than ever.
I think everyone's way more open sexually, especially. I think it's a lot more.
Yeah. The people that are fucking are. The people that are fucking are. The people that aren't fucking, they're typing. They're making TikToks about how much they hate the person that lives across the street. How can they be fucking?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of.
Let me ask you something. If you're gonna make a video about how much you hate somebody and that's your day, how much are you looking forward to bang that day? That's your version of banging.
Are we talking about hate banging or like there's different kinds?
No, I'm not talking about the genuine hate banging, which is amazing. I'm talking about because they don't want to bang the person they hate. Their whole day is consumed by attacking other people. They ain't got time for the fucking. And by the way, everybody looks terrible. Everybody's gross and smelly, and no one knows what the fuck. No one knows where the hole is because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's like it's weird.
Dude, I disagree. I think people look better than ever. What are you talking about, man? I think people are healthier than ever. What?
People are healthier than ever.
Yeah.
Where are you getting this from?
Like younger people, bro. There's like tons of vegans around now. I think this is the healthiest we've looked as humans in my lifetime.
We couldn't. That's because you're not allowed to tell people they're not healthy anymore. Dude, we literally made it almost illegal to call somebody fat. What are you talking about? A doctor can't even tell you you're overweight anymore.
I don't know, bro.
I'm just.
So what do you think? You think this is the worst we've looked as people?
I don't know, man. I can't go anywhere without seeing a ton of fatties. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but is it people like our age or is it like older?
Younger,
60s,
older. It's across
older.
the fucking
maybe
board.
Maybe I'm just not looking at.
Dude, we have an obesity epidemic. It's an insomnia in this country. It's a legitimate insomnia. We have an obesity. Dude,
I know that.
The epidemic was so bad, we had to just call it and just don't call people fat anymore. That